Good evening, guys. I hope everybody's doing good. Our verse for today is Psalm 139, verse 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. Psalm 139 begins with a declaration that God had examined David in every respect. O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away. Psalm 139 says in verse 1 and 2. In our verses for today, at the end of the psalm, David asked God to do the same thing. Although God had already searched him, so great was his desire to avoid sin and self-deception that he asks God to search and examine him again. The request implores God to search David's heart and then his thought life. First, by asking God to search his heart, David was asking him to search into the very core of his inner being. Proverbs tells us that the heart determines the course of your life. And you see that in Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. It is where the motives of a person reside. Second, by asking God to test him and know his anxious thoughts, David was asking God to use whatever means necessary to reveal the kind of thoughts that issue forth from the motives of his heart when he is under duress. The testing will point out to David anything within him that offends God. Just as silver refined in a furnace yields up any dross left within it, so the testing of David will yield up any sinful thoughts born of sinful motives left within him. God uses the trials, troubles, and tribulations of life to reveal the true motives and thoughts of a person so they can be dealt with. The arrest of Jesus, for example, was a test for Peter that pointed out to him the fear and cowardice left within him. And Peter had deceived himself into thinking he had the courage necessary to stand with Jesus. And we see this in Matthew chapter 26 and verse 35. But the test revealed something different. If he is tested and refined again, then David will be in a better position to follow the lead of the Lord along the path of everlasting life. Untested and unrefined people tend to deviate from the true path. It takes courage to pray a prayer like David's prayer. But it is necessary if we want to be everything God wants us to be. Have a blessed one.